Hello there! Márcia Bonfim here from the Song Activity Factory, where teaching English with songs isn't just an activity, it's a movement. Woo! If you've been following the blog series, you've already seen how we kicked things off with an introduction to the music framework, and then dove into our first principle, motivation. That one was all about using songs to capture attention and build a fun, energized classroom atmosphere. Now, we're moving on to the second principle, understanding. And instead of publishing a regular blog post for this one, I wanted to do something a bit more dynamic. So I'm turning it into a video series with slides and all the juicy details you'd want it if you're teaching English through music. Why the switch? Because some ideas just come to life better when you can hear them, see examples, and imagine how they will play out in your classroom. So, grab your coffee, your favorite playlist, and let's dive into how to help your students not just hear English in songs, but really understand it through context, culture, emotions, and much more. All right. Let's jump into understanding, the second principle in the music framework. Now, why does this matter so much? Because when students really understand what they're hearing in a song, not just the words, but the meaning behind them, they start to connect with English in a completely new way. Songs aren't just catchy tunes. They're little capsules of culture, emotion, and real-world language use. They expose learners to how people actually speak, think, and express themselves. That's where the magic happens. When a student hears a lyric and goes, wait, I know what that means. And not because they translated it, but because they felt it, they understood it. With this principle, we're moving away from passive listening and into active, thoughtful learning. We're talking about building comprehension that lasts because it's rooted in context, culture, and emotion. In the next slides, I'll walk you through exactly how to do this in your classroom with practical, flexible activities that work across levels and styles. Let's start with one of the biggest advantages of using songs. They give language context. Think about it. When we teach vocabulary or grammar from a textbook, it's often stripped of real meaning. Students memorize a phrasal verb like give up from a list, and they might remember it, but only until the test. But now, imagine that same student hears, "Don't give up on me," in a chorus, tied to a melody, a story, an emotion. That phrase sticks. Why? Because it's embedded in a meaningful, emotional, authentic context. Songs naturally show how language flows, how words relate to each other, and how grammar isn't just rules, it's expression. That's the power of contextual learning. It helps students build mental connections between language and life. So instead of asking, "What does this word mean?" they start asking, "What is this song trying to say?" And that's a whole new level of understanding. Now, let's talk about one of my favorite things that songs bring to the table: culture. Lyrics are full of little clues about how people live, what they value, and how they see the world. A simple line in a pop song can say a lot about relationships, identity, humor, even politics. Let's say you're teaching a song about road trips in the US. It's not just teaching vocabulary about cars or directions. It's revealing something bigger: the cultural importance of freedom, mobility, maybe even the idea of chasing dreams. When students explore those messages, they're not just learning English, they're becoming culturally aware communicators. And the artists, they're not just performing, their storytelling. This is where songs can go beyond language learning and help students build global citizen skills. They're seeing how different people live, feel, and think, and learning how to talk about it. Let's be honest. How many times have you remembered a song lyric for years, but completely blanked on what you studied last week? That's the power of emotion and melody. When we pair words with rhythm, music, and feeling, we activate different parts of the brain. It's not just intellectual, it's emotional. That combination makes learning stick. A song about heartbreak doesn't just teach vocabulary. It puts that vocabulary in a context your students can feel. That feeling builds a strong neural connection. So when they hear that word again, it's not just a definition, it is an experience. And here's the cool part. Even shy students, or those who struggle with traditional methods, start to engage when emotion enters the room. Music lowers affective filters, reduces anxiety, and makes the classroom feel more human. So when I say feel it to learn it, I really mean it. Emotion is not fluff. It's a secret weapon in language comprehension. To illustrate this understanding thing in the music framework, I want to bring some activities that will illustrate musically speaking. This activity is one of my favorites. It's called Musical Insights. It's a full lesson that really brings lyrics to life through curiosity, prediction, and emotional reflection. It starts off super light. I share one of my favorite songs and explain why I like it. Then I ask students to do the same. This opens the space for personal connection and lowers the pressure. Then I show them a verse from a song, but with missing words. Students guess what's missing, just based on context and imagination. They get curious. Some recognize the song, others don't. We talk about what kind of song they think it is, what mood it might have. We repeat this with a second verse, but this time working in pairs to complete the gaps. Then students share their versions. It's playful, it's collaborative, and it gets them really thinking about how lyrics work. Then comes the reveal. We play the actual song, they compare their guesses, react, and reflect on what surprised them. And then we go deeper. What did they like or not like? Who might enjoy this song and why? When would they listen to it? They answer in writing, then pair up again to compare and reflect. It ends with a brief written summary of their conversation, which makes a great informal assessment of comprehension and communicative ability. This lesson isn't just about understanding lyrics. It's about understanding how students connect to music, how they make meaning, and how they share their voice. It's comprehension with heart, creativity, and conversation. Another activity that I really love is lyrical reading. It is all about peeling back the layers of a song to uncover its core message before the music shapes our emotions. Let me walk you through and show you how this happens. We start by playing the lyrics read aloud like a poem. Sometimes it's like the person is talking to somebody else, like in a conversation. It is stripped off any melody. The students listen twice, jotting down words or phrases that resonate, even single words. This forces them to focus purely on language, not rhythm or instruments. Next, they dive into pair discussions. If you're doing this online, you can do using breakout rooms. And then in these pair discussions, they are going to piece together the song's message. Here's the twist. They connect it to the corrected quotes we explored earlier, like, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, or tough times never last, bridging critical thinking to themes of resilience and support. Back to the main group, teams share interpretations, guessing the genre. Is it pop? Is it rock? This sparks lively debates. Then comes the big reveal, the actual music video. Students visibly light up as they compare their mental images with the artist's visuals and tone. Finally, reflective questions deepen analysis. Does the singer sound hopeful? Is the message positive? The clincher is a lyrics excerpt, where they choose the best interpretation, supportive, indifferent, or frustrated. This sharpens analytical skills and ties to emotional intelligence. By separating lyrics from music, students see how melody influences meaning. And by reconnecting the two, they discover how art and language intertwine. It's not just comprehension, it's about connection. Musical word connections. This is another activity that I really like. Musical word connections turns lyrics into a playground for vocabulary building and critical thinking. Here is how it works. We kick off with a simple question. What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the word music? Or it can be any other word, okay, depending on the theme of the song. This warms up their associative thinking and sets the stage for collaborative wordplay. Next, students dive into an interactive word association game. In small groups, they pick a numbered box to reveal a lyric-related word. Think addiction, regret, or hope. Each student quickly types a related word in the chat, no overthinking. Then another group explains the connections between those words. Why does rain link to sadness? How does fight relate to strength? This sparks creativity and primes them for the song's themes. After the game, we play the song twice. Their mission? Identify which word from the game isn't in the lyrics. This sharpens listening skills and forces them to engage critically with the language. Spoiler! It's always a word they assumed would be there. Then, we project the lyrics. As the song plays again, students follow along, circling unfamiliar words. We unpack these together. What does haunted mean here? How does empty describe a feeling? Bridging vocabulary to context. In pairs, they tackle deeper questions. Who is the song about? What's happening? How does the singer feel? They must justify answers using lyrics, turning abstract words into evidence. This shifts vocabulary from recognition to ownership. Finally, we watch the music video. Students debate. Does the video match their interpretations? How do visuals change the meaning of words like lonely or free? It's a powerful reminder that words evolve with context and that connection is at the heart of language. By the end, students aren't just memorizing words. They're weaving them into networks of meaning, one song at a time. Now, a favorite of mine. It seems that all are favorites, but I created these activities and they are just like children, my children to me. So all of them are my favorites, I'm sorry. Watch and catch. This activity turns grammar and vocabulary practice into a high-energy team competition, perfect for sharpening observation and listening skills. Here's the play-by-play. We start by dividing students into teams. No shouting answers, just stealthy note-taking. The mission? Spot specific language elements in music videos. Think present continuous verbs, is running, irregular past tense, brought, or even simple adjectives like historic. Before each video clip, we display the target grammar and vocab on the board and brainstorm examples. What does present continuous sound like? Let's list a few. This primes their ears and eyes for the hunt. Then, the fast-paced challenge begins. Each clip plays 3 times. Teams scar scenes for visual cues, like spotting a city skyline or a domino game, while jotting down heard phrases. Did you catch "I'll wait" as simple future? Write it down. The repetition ensures no detail slips by. After all clips, teams review their findings. For each correct answer, visual or auditory, they earn a point. But here's the twist. They must explain their choices. Why is came an irregular past verb? How does New York tie to the song setting? This cements grammar rules and vocabulary in context. The winning team celebrates, but everybody wins. They've practiced listening under pressure, dissected grammar in real time, and collaborated like language detectives. Bonus? The mix of visuals, music, and competition makes those structures stick. By the end, students aren't just passive viewers. They're active learners connecting language to the world, one music video at a time. Advanced comprehension isn't just about understanding lyrics. It's about weaving them into the fabric of real-world contexts. Let's dive into Musical Neighborhood, an activity where language meets imagination and community. Needless to say, this is another favorite of mine. We start with a warm-up. Do you love where you live? Is your neighborhood quiet or buzzing? This sparks personal connections and primes students to think critically about environments. Next, we project images of 3 distinct houses. Students describe them. Is that cottage cozy or cramped? Does the modern loft feel lonely or liberating? And debate who might live there. A retired artist, a busy family. This hones descriptive language and inference skills. Then comes the musical twist. We play a song loved by one of these fictional residents. Students listen and decide which house fits the song's mood. Is the melancholic melody tied to the isolated cabin? The hopeful chorus to the vibrant townhouse? They defend their choices, linking lyrics to lifestyle. Collaboration kicks in as pairs invent detailed profiles for their chosen resident, like name, age, job, secrets. These are pasted into a shared Google Doc, creating a neighborhood of characters. Presentations turn classmates into storytellers. Meet Clara, the 30-year-old architect who hides her loneliness behind a smile, blah, blah, blah. The song plays again. Lyrics displayed. Students dissect vocabulary and themes, then partner up to write dialogues between residents from different houses. What would the reclusive writer say to the outgoing chef next door? Creativity meets grammar as they weave song-inspired lines into conversations. Finally, homework extends the story. It was a beautiful morning, but I felt so sad. Students craft narratives where residents cross paths on a trip, at a concert, blending personal imagination with language precision. And then at this moment, we take the opportunity to introduce some preparation for Cambridge exams, writing a story. This isn't just comprehension. It's building worlds with words. Students don't just learn English, they live it. One house, one character, one song at a time. Understanding isn't a checkbox, it's a journey. When students move from passive listeners to active interpreters, they unlock deeper meaning in every lyric. Let's break down how this transformation happens. By treating songs as stories, students dissect narratives, uncover hidden emotions, and connect themes to their own lives. Think of a breakup ballad becoming a window into discussing resilience, or an upbeat track sparking debates about cultural identity. This shift from surface-level listening to critical analysis turns lyrics into mirrors reflecting their experiences. Deeper learning thrives on multimodal engagement. Imagine students visualizing scenes from lyrics to activate schema. What does Haunted by Memories look like? Debating cultural references in pairs. Does this line celebrate independence or loneliness? Reflecting on how melodies amplify a song's message. Why does the chorus drop to a whisper? These strategies, rooted in the understanding principle, turn comprehension into an embodied experience. Students don't just get the language, they feel its rhythm and own its nuances. Now, imagine building on this foundation. Next, we'll explore skills, targeted activities that transform this understanding into speaking fluency, writing precision, and listening mastery. But first, ready to try it? Start small. Pick a song. Ask students to predict its story before listening. Then compare their theories to the lyrics. Notice how curiosity fuels deeper engagement. Adapt, iterate, and watch passive learners become powerful interpreters. Because when understanding becomes an experience, language isn't just learned, it's lived. And I want to invite you to know a little more about the exclusive subscriber club. All these activities that I mentioned here, they are part of the exclusive subscriber club. So you can click the link below the video, click the video description, so you can see how all these things we have been seeing these videos in these blog posts about these music principles and the songs techniques. All these things, they all come together in my exclusive subscriber club. Get to know it and be part of our club. Come with me. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.